All right, guys. I guess you guys can hear me. Welcome to Shades 2. Thank you so much for tuning in. It is April the 9th, 2025, 10:43 p.m. out here on the West Coast. Again, welcome to Shades 2, guys. Welcome to everybody in the bushes, everybody who watches this in the replay. Over here in the chat, we got Jermaine in the place to be. How you doing tonight, Jermaine? Y'all, let's go ahead and do the copyright disclaimer. Hold on for 1 second. Let me check something real quick because I'm doing this from my phone. I could not get my microphone to come back on. I restarted the computer. I did everything. I just can't get it back on. So I'm doing this from my brand new phone so I can be able to, read off my other phone. So hopefully y'all can hear me. I can't even hear the other music on here. So I don't know if it's on or not. I can barely hear it. This phone is different. Okay, let's go ahead and do the copyright disclaimer. Actually, I think I do hear it very lowly. Okay, so copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. That entire copyright disclaimer is in my description area. It will be my comment area. Part of it is scrolling across that screen right there, as you guys can see. And there it is. Okay. Guys, let me actually do an additional favor. If you can, could you please thumbs up this video if you enjoyed this content? If you are not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe below and hit that bell notification so you can be notified of any upcoming videos. Make sure you share and leave a comment. Jermaine, can you hear me pretty good? Because I hate when I do it on my phone because I can't hear myself. Hold on for 1 second, y'all. This damn allergy always started when I get on this daggone camera. So the only good thing about being on your phone is that I can actually get up and walk around. So that's the good thing. Now, y'all make sure y'all tell me in the chat if you can hear me. I got to open this window a little bit more because I'm hot. Damn, it's hot. It's hot, y'all. It's hot here. I could turn on my fan, but I don't want you guys to hear it. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes like the feedback from the fan will pick up on the camera and stuff. So I'm gonna leave it off. The air conditioner's on. I just got it up low high. But anyway, so tonight, guys, we are going to finish our discussion on Anthony. We have a witness. I'm gonna let you hear that interview. Okay, I was gonna let you see the video, but since I don't know how to do that for my phone, I mean, you can show it, but I don't want to do it like that. I wish I could do it a different type of way. So I'm just gonna let y'all hear that. Also, Diddy, lawyers, Diddy's team, I guess prosecutors, or whatever, whoever picked the jury, they are getting ready to make that selection. Plus, I have some more breaking news on Diddy. And then we got Gene Hackman. We're going to talk about his condition of his house. They called it a horror house. And I think that's it. I may have some Terrence Howard information. I don't know for sure. I have to look on my phone to see because I got everything, saved and stuff. So get you something to drink, relax in bed or a seat. If you are at work, continue to do your job and watch me on the down low. And for everybody else, let's go ahead and oh, she already did that. Go ahead and start off with this live, y'all. Okay, let me do this real quick, y'all. I didn't know she had sent this to me. Hold on. Let me do this real quick. It's hot. It's hot. It's hot. Woo! I'm about to go turn that air conditioner down to 70. Okay, hold on. Let me do this real quick. Yeah. Have to do this, you guys. Let me go ahead and do this. Cash out, withdraw. Instant. Let me do this real quick. Okay, now let me do something real quick before we start off with this live. This over here is hot. Y'all, was it hot where you're at today? Because here it was like in certain areas, it was like where I live at, it was 80 something degrees. But in another part that I was in, it was like almost 100 degrees out here, you guys. But it's not like when it's 100 degrees out here, it's not like in some places. It like today, it wasn't like humid. I didn't even sweat or anything. So let's see. Let's transfer this over. Transfer. Let's do something. Damn. You got to transfer $130 over. Let's see. Hold on, y'all. So yeah, it was pretty hot. in certain areas. Hold on for 1 second. Gotta do this real quick. Because if I don't do it now, I'm going to basically forget. Okay. Let's do this. Done. Choose the date is tonight. Okay. My ass will forget like what? Actually, I think I put that in the wrong account. Actually, I didn't. No, I didn't. Let's see. No, I didn't. Let's check this and see. Okay, there you go. I think that's right now. Okay. So anyway, we're going to try to go ahead and do this live successfully tonight, even though I'm not on my regular computer or anything. But I do, got everything hooked up right here so I can be able to get information pretty much easy. All right. So yeah, let's go ahead and watch it, guys. Don't forget the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification. Again, welcome to Jermaine in the chat over here. Welcome to everybody in the bushes and everybody who watches this in the replay. Don't forget, if you want to show additional support for this channel, you can do a super sticker, super chat, or copy yourself a membership for $4.99, or you can do a Cash App donation to $ShadesTube. All right. Thank you guys so much. And I appreciate you guys so, so, so much. So let's go ahead and change all of this. Let's go ahead and put the first thing we are going to talk about tonight is KarmeloAthon. Let's go ahead and talk about him. And let me go ahead and get my information regarding him. Jermaine, can you hear me pretty good? And let's change this banner right here. Hold on, y'all. Let me edit this. Okay, so earlier, we went over a lot of information regarding KarmeloAthon, and I told you guys exactly, what his situation is all about. So let me recant everything. Okay, so Karmelo is a 17-year-old teenager. Okay, so he was sitting in a tent. Okay, that was actually, they claimed they said the tent, but he wasn't supposed to be sitting in the tent. Okay, and from my understanding, it was another team. It was a team out there. I think they were I don't know if it was track or what, but it wasn't like a high school. I thought, originally I thought they were at the high school stadium, but they actually wasn't. All right. They was at, I guess, a community park or something, and they were, I guess, training or something. Anyway, he sat underneath a tent that he wasn't supposed to be in. Okay, so one of the, I guess, teammates from the team that was using the pitch or the field or whatever the case is, I guess, they approached him, and they got into like a verbal altercation, which some people, let's say, it led to somewhat of a physical confrontation where one of the dudes pushed him. Okay. Karmelo warned the dude from the start, don't touch me. Okay. I don't know exactly, everything that transpired, in between that time, because like when you read the report that I read earlier, and when you hear some of the witness talk, they don't tell you every single thing. They made it sound like Anthony just took out his knife and just stabbed, and that's not really the truth. Like I said earlier, I believe that more stuff happened. I believe that they were actually, arguing with this dude because they didn't want him underneath the tent, sitting on the bleachers. The dude was sitting there on his phone. It was rainy. So he was sitting there trying not to get wet, I guess. And he was on his phone. I believe from what I read, I know one witness said that Austin, the young man whom Anthony ended up stabbing to DEATH, he or his brother told Anthony to leave. Okay. And I don't know what Anthony said or whatever the case is, but he didn't. And so Austin stood up and told him he would put him out. And so that's when he put his hands on him and tried to push him out and things like that. And that's when Anthony went inside his bag, grabbed his knife, and stabbed him. And I had said from the get-go, it had to be more to that. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't feel like he just would have went in his bag and took his knife out if it did not, if he wasn't scared, if he didn't think that he needed to do that. And I'm sitting up here thinking to myself, just thinking about the whole scenario. And I'm saying to myself, I wonder if the brother got into this too, because I find it very hard to believe that your sibling is out there and he sees you arguing. But they did say, see, look, every article that I read say something different. One article said his brother, Austin's brother, his twin brother, was arguing with him first, and then Austin jumped in it. So I don't know which one is the truth, but I don't believe that only one person was confronting, KarmeloAthon. I just don't believe that, and I believe that he was fearful, and that's why he grabbed his knife and used it, and I know that, some people refuse to believe that, but I think maybe that's what happened. And so I'm going to show you guys, I'm going to let you listen to this video of one of these witnesses talking about what he saw firsthand. All right. Okay. Thank you, Jermaine. Okay. Let me go ahead and go to this real quick. Let me see. Let me get it. Hold on for 1 second, y'all. Let me get it. Okay. Let's see here. I got to find it. I think this is it right here. So y'all just have to listen. All right. Because I'm not going to be able to show you the video. So just listen. I got to turn it up once I get it. Hold on. Wait, this dude is singing and shit. Hold on. Let me go to it on what's the thing. I don't know what happened to. Oh, here it is right here. Hold on. Okay, let me rewind it.
Places where they,
Jermaine, tell me if you can hear this good. Let me do this.
Got rained out like crazy bad. Everybody trying to get back to their cars or get in, places where they, wouldn't get all extra wet. Dude was sitting up under the tent, right? He was on his phone, right? My daughters was up under the same goddamn tent. Yeah. So I'm paying attention to my kids, but at the same time, they're in the same vicinity. So I'm watching everything going on around it because I'm there for my children. So dude walks up, McKellen, bro, he wasn't even under the tent at the time. They came from a whole separate tent and walked over there. They intentionally went over there to this kid, man. Dude was sitting there on his phone just trying to get dry. You feel me? One thing went from another. They grabbed this man and they tried to punch on dude. Dude went in his bag and whatever. They went to try to jump this dude and punch on this dude, man. And he protected himself, dude. That's what happened. Yeah. It wasn't just one. It was both of them, bro. Austin, that dude that's got unalive, and his brother physically went over there to intentionally. It's not to the point that he brought a knife. For one, it wasn't on school property. The school is at least 5 to 10 miles away. It was community track meet, bro. It wasn't a school track meet. So he had the right to have a knife on his person, bro. It was raining. It got rained out like.
So did y'all hear that? That is a witness who was there. Okay, he saw the entire thing. So he is telling a different story. Okay, now I remember when I was talking about this to Jermaine and when I was online, I don't know if I said all of this online, but I told Jermaine, it's got to be more to the story because I just cannot believe why he would take out a knife. They had to be doing something else. And I said from the start, maybe it was more than one person, or he either thought or they came over there like they were going to do something. So he took out that knife, protecting himself, because they were getting ready to beat him up. And you just heard a dude say they was about to jump him. Okay. They said that dude was underneath that tent on the bleachers, minding his business on his cell phone. And those two just came there doing the most. That's what this dude is saying, basically. And Austin and Anthony took out his knife once they started hitting him. I think he even said that they punched him. Let's hear that again. Let's hear this one more time. Listen to it real good.
Crazy bad. Everybody trying to get back to their cars or get in, places where they, wouldn't get all extra wet. Dude was sitting up on the tent, right? He was on his phone, right? My daughters was up under the same goddamn tent. Yeah. So I'm paying attention to my kids, but at the same time, they're in the same vicinity. So I'm watching everything going on around it because I'm there for my children. So dude walks up, McKellen, bro, he wasn't even under the tent at the time. They came from a whole separate tent and walked over there. They intentionally went over there to this kid, man. Dude was sitting there on his phone just trying to get dry. You feel me? One thing went from another. They grabbed this man and they tried to punch on dude.
See?
Dude went in his bag and they went to try to jump this dude and punch on this dude, man. And he protected himself, dude. That's what happened. Yeah. It wasn't just one. It was both of them, bro. Austin, that dude that's got unalive, and his brother physically went over there to intentionally. It's not to the point that he brought a knife. For one, it wasn't on school property. The school is at least 5 to 10 miles away. It was community track meet, bro. It wasn't a school track meet. So he had the right to have a knife on his person, bro. It was raining. It got rain.
Okay, so we just heard that they were punching on him. So y'all remember earlier when I had read a report and they tried to discredit that and said that it could be fake. The person who wrote that wasn't lying when they said that he got punched. Now, I don't know about the cell phone thing that they threw it, but the punch thing, because this dude is saying they would start punching on him. All right. And the other brother was also trying to fight too. And like I told y'all, it had to be a valid reason why this dude who does not have a criminal record, he's a good student, 3.76 grade point average, all of that, why he would pull out a knife. Okay. And if let me keep it real with you guys. Okay. So, I carry weapons on me. Even when I was younger, I did. All right. Like when I was a teenager, just in case. All right. And just because you carry weapons on you, it doesn't mean that you're trying to go out here and do something to somebody. You just have it on you for protection in case somebody mess with you. And let me stress this again. We don't know what, he was going through, or somebody could have been messing with him, before. He just had that with him just in case. Okay. Like I said earlier, I just don't feel like this dude and his brother should have came up there and did anything. If the dude was underneath the tent and they didn't want him there, they should have went to the coaches on the field, because there were coaches there, and let them know and let them take over. Because, originally I thought they was on school property. They weren't on school property. So they could have just went to the coach and let him know, period. It's basically public property. You know what I'm saying? Let's read some of these comments right here. Somebody said Carmelo did exactly what he was supposed to do, protect himself. Okay. Somebody said he was banned from there, didn't even go to that school. Hold on, let me see what this person is saying right here. Hold on. Take this shit off of here. This damn phone freezing up. Wait, let's look at these comments again. Hold on. That's this thing freezing up. Okay, so they said he was banned from there, didn't even go to the school, and was in wrong tent. And the only thing they did was push him. You're adding stuff that didn't happen in school event. Okay, somebody said no, he wasn't. Okay, let's read the rest of this content. Somebody said yes, he was. Pulled a weapon on an unarmed kid and stabbed him straight. Coward, murderer. Somebody said he was being assaulted by two boys, 200 pounds each, physically assaulting him. His second person was that knife. They should have minded their business. And let me tell y'all something. I agree with that person right there who said they should have minded their business. They didn't have any reason to be trying to put this dude out of no tent. Okay, if you can ask him to move, and if he does not want to move, I'll say it again. They should have went over there to the coach and let the coaches know, and then the coaches could have came over there if they felt like it was necessary and told that dude to leave, point blank. And I'm pretty sure he just would have left. And then I just don't believe either that they just said, oh, get out of our tent. and just pushed him slightly, and the dude pulled out a knife. I don't believe that. I don't. I do not believe that. Another commenter said one boy pushed him. I watched everything on this because he was in wrong school tent and was suspended, not supposed to be there, and didn't go to that school. Anyway, if he obeyed the laws and rules, he wouldn't be there. I have watched everything on it to stab an unarmed individual, white, black, whatever color, scared, coward. He got hand, win, some lose. So now they both going to pass, one by knife, one by prison. F penalty. The whole thing is he wasn't supposed to be there. Let me tell you something, Wallace, with your no talking, typing ass, okay, on everything. Just because he wasn't supposed to be there, it's not up to that young kid to tell him he shouldn't be there. And he damn sure shouldn't have put his hands on him, point blank, all right? I'm so sick of these people looking at one side of the story instead of looking at the entire story. Okay, the thing is, these two boys didn't have no reason to put their hands on this dude. All right, period. He could be wherever he wants to be. If he didn't supposed to be there, they should have went to proper authorities, like I said before, the grown-ups, the coaches, and let them know, instead of putting everything in their own hand and going and telling the dude to leave and trying to fight him and things like that. If you think for 1 minute, I think those two boys just went over there and politely said, leave. And politely tapped him, and the boy pulled out a knife and just stabbed him. Y'all are crazy as hell. I don't believe this. Okay, I don't believe it. Period. Somebody said I'm proud of Mello. Somebody else said likewise. Listen, I don't condone nobody unaliving anybody unless it's in self-defense. All right, point blank. And since these are kids, I'm not going to say that it's good that the dude got unalived either. I'm not going to say that. What I am going to say is, like I said before, I don't think those two boys should have said anything to Anthony, point blank, period. And just say if they did say, get out of our tent, well, then, once Anthony said whatever he said, they should have went over there to the coaches, and let them know and go from there. Miss Dre said, as a woman, if I am minding my business and a woman or women got aggressive with me, all I'm saying is everything is a weapon. Don't care about your waist at this point. And I agree. You come over there talking to me, whether I'm in the wrong place or not. Okay, whether I'm suspended or not. I don't give a shit what you're talking about. Mind your business. Don't say shit to me. All right? I'm going to warn you. Don't touch me or else it's on. Period. All right? And you should listen to that and take heed to that. I don't understand why some people think they use their privilege card and think they can just order everybody around. That's not cool. Damn, if they asked the dude to leave and the dude didn't say yeah and didn't leave, then go tell the coaches. Okay, that way no altercation comes out, nobody gets unalive, hurt, or anything. But no. I know what happened for sure. I really do. Somebody said I knew it. It was both twins attacking him. Hunter looks like a follower of Austin. They harassed and physically assaulted him. He protected himself. It's coming out. And I can't wait until they show the video. I just can't if they don't hide it, because I know that is more to the story. I know this dude did not just pull out a knife and unalive this other dude. I just don't believe that. Somebody said, true, that boy could have been a victim of bullying. You never know. I heard that the kid broke Karmelo's phone and disrespected his girlfriend before the incident. So I'm sure he was being bullied. I don't know about all that because I didn't read that. They claim this is that is fake. I don't know if he broke his phone because they claim they don't know each other either. Okay. So I don't know if he broke his phone or anything. And this witness didn't say anything about a broken phone at all. He didn't say anything about a broken phone, and he said he saw everything. So until somebody tell me that a phone was broken, that's the only way I'm going to believe that. You know what I'm saying? This witness didn't say anything about a phone. I played it twice for you guys. Did you hear anything about a phone? No. But I did hear that both of the twins were on this dude. They were, hitting him and basically assaulting him and stuff like that. And he pulled out his knife and stabbed the boy. Period. So another person said, saying to leave the tent and maybe being shoved a little don't mean you got to bring out a whole weapon and escalate it. Just read the police report. Well, I did read the police report. And I read the incident report, and it did not say that right there. Well, it did say he pushed him, but we don't know how hard this dude pushed him. We don't know what happened before that because they did not include every single thing. Remember, at that time, they only spoke with one witness, okay? The police didn't see it. They talked to one witness, okay? It was other witnesses too, okay? And some did not want to speak. And then you got this dude right here. Somebody said, if I push up on you and tell you to move as if I am in charge, you're going to do it or push me back? Listen, that is very hard to say. If some random person push you, let me tell you something. Listen, if you put your hands on somebody, you cannot dictate how they are going to respond back. First of all, you shouldn't be putting your hands on anybody. If somebody is a place that they are not supposed to be, it's two things you can do. You can call the person that is in charge, or you can call the police. Those are the two things that could have been done. Not put that in your own hands and start telling somebody to get out, you and your brother pushing on them and stuff, punching him and doing the most. You don't do this. Now, that's what the dude just said, the other witness who was sitting in the other tent or the same tent with his two girls. They were trying not to get wet. Okay, let's see what these other comments are saying. Somebody said Austin should have minded his business. Now he a pack. Okay, I don't know why they laughing about that. That's not cute. Okay, again, I don't think it's funny. Let me stress that. And it's sad that boy lost his life. All right. So I don't think it's funny. I don't know why people write all these stupid comments. That's very stupid, dude. And I'm glad you didn't show your picture. This may be your picture, but I'm glad you didn't put your name up there. That's dumb. All right. It's never funny when any kid gets unalive. He should have minded his business. And if he felt like he wanted to say something, he could have said, leave out the tent, and like I said, if the guy didn't want to leave, then just go tell the coaches. That's all he had to do. Yeah, they got some disrespectful comments here, so we're not going to read any more of those comments. It's a hot ass mess. All right, so let's see what Jermaine said. You said every version of this incident states that Karmelo was assaulted first, and every version did. Okay, so let's show that on the stage, and every version definitely says the same exact thing. Okay, then you said he didn't just push. There was a whole verbal altercation before that. Only guessing there were threats made both ways. That's what I'm guessing. They're kids. So I'm thinking that they probably was threatening each other, even though the two boys started it first and then they was threatening each other. I'm guessing that Anthony said, no, I'm not leaving. And it escalated from that. And he does not have to leave. All right. He didn't have to leave. You can't make somebody leave, but what you can do is go tell the proper authority and they can make them leave. And that's the way they should have did it. You don't take stuff in your own hands because you don't know what people may have. It could have very well been AGUN. You see what I'm saying? You can't do that. You cannot do that, and you shouldn't do that. And then somebody said, a person claiming self-defense cannot provoke the incident and then claim self-defense when they act. How did he provoke it? Because he said, no, that's not provoking. It said, no, I'm not going to leave. No, who provoked it, the incident, is those two boys. Or are those two boys. Okay, that's who provoked it. Now, let's see what else we got on there. That's crazy. Hold on, y'all. Let me turn this down.
Brows. So let me show you the different brows.
There's somebody on TikTok. Hold on. Okay, let's see what else we got on here. That's crazy. So this is another witness right here. Is this the same one? Let's see what this one is saying. Let's see. This is a girl. Hold on. Let me see if this is another witness.
I'll let y'all hear this because this is the piece.
This may be the same dude. Let's see. It's Karmelo. So y'all should see him. This little boy. Oh yeah, that's the same dude.
places where they, wouldn't get all.
Yeah, that's the same dude. Okay, and you should see this kid. He looks like a little ass kid, guys. He really does in this picture that I'm looking at with his friends. Somebody said they need to charge his brother. Okay. And somebody else said, I'm praying more witnesses come forward. Let me tell y'all something. All the witnesses that I read, like I said before, they're basically saying Austin pushed first and he confronted this dude first. He should have never did that. And like I said, you can confront people, but keep your hands to yourself. And don't ever forget that this kid told him, don't touch me or else, or you're going to see. He's warning him right then and there, you guys. He's saying, don't touch me. If you come up to me, right, and you're telling me to move, and I tell you, don't touch me, you're going to find out if I'm going to move. So you're going to take it upon yourself to continue to touch me? Okay? You're going to do that? No, you shouldn't do that. What you should be doing is going to tell the proper authorities if I'm somewhere that I don't supposed to be. You don't take stuff into your own hands. And I don't know why people don't say that. Okay, I don't know why they're not saying this. That's crazy. And they know if it was the other way around, they would be saying that. And I know they would be saying that. There's no way people would be all crazy right now if it would have been the other way around. They would have been like, the black kid should have never pushed the white kid. And his brother probably joined in too. They would automatically say that, and we know they would. So I don't like this double standard stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's almost similar to other cases that I have read about. If the shoe was on the other foot, it would be a very different story, okay? Hold on, y'all. Let's turn on this damn dryer. It would be a very different story. That's the only good thing about talking on the phone and doing this live. I can go do whatever I got to do while being on this phone. Now, excuse the background noise. I'll close that door. Let me take that off of there. Okay. So yeah, it would be a very different story, you guys. Let me read this other comment. Somebody said this is why Carmelo parents are being quiet, because they know he will be justified. And I hope so, because I don't feel like he should be charged with first-degree murder, okay? And then Austin, somebody said, why Austin parents jump on the news to try to push a different narrative before the truth comes out? A lot of people do that, guys. I hate to say that. Certain people are good at this. They will basically do something, and then when you react in a way that's surprising to them, then they want to go and cry and paint a picture like you're the person that is the aggressor. When in reality, they shouldn't have been doing anything to you in the first place. They should have minded their business. Somebody said they lied twice on TV. I don't want to watch it because it'll make me mad. You know what I'm saying? Let's see. Somebody said, I knew something was off. I believe that he had that in his bag because he was already afraid and had already been bullied and threatened. And I believe that too. I told you, man, there's a reason why this young dude carries a knife. Usually kids carry knives because somebody else been messing with them, okay? And just in case. But the most important thing is that Anthony warned this dude to leave him alone. And they just kept on. Damn, can you hear? If he would have heard that and listened to him and follow directions, he would still be alive today. I mean, if they didn't want him there, just go tell the coaches. I'm pretty sure every single one of those coaches would have came over there and made that little dude leave. And if he wouldn't have left, they would have called the police. I'm pretty sure of that. And he probably still would have got arrested because the police would have checked his bag and all that. We know how that goes. But hopefully if the coaches would have came there, the kid would have just left. So somebody said the other trend needs to be charged for his brother's unaliving, not Anthony. I don't know if I agree with that either. Because I don't think nobody thought anybody would get unalived, okay? I just think this needs to be a self-defense. I don't know if they can charge him for having a knife on him, but I just think it needs to be that, because that's exactly what it sounds like to me. I don't know if the other brother should get charged because they was just being kids. I don't think he was thinking that his brother would get unalived or anything, point blank. Somebody said he's going to have to testify. Now, if he lies, that's a whole different thing. See, that's why he didn't want to talk, because he knew what happened. The brother, he knew. That's why he didn't want to talk. Remember, they said he was too choking up to talk. He didn't want to talk anyway. Now, I don't know if they have spoken to him yet, but he didn't want to talk anyway because he already know exactly what happened. But see, what they did not remember is that not only are the teammates out there, they are not the only ones that witnessed this. Non-teammates did too, of different race. You see what I'm saying? So there you go. Somebody saying, for the YouTube people saying that he skipped school, etc., according to his lawyer, he was on the roster. Free our nephew. He was a good student in school. I don't know where they're coming from, the suspension stuff, and all that. He has a grade point average of 3.7 something. Okay, so that doesn't sound like a trouble kid. And just say if he was suspended. If he was suspended, it's probably due to, fighting or something like that, because he was bullied or something like that. Who knows? But regardless of that, that's not the point. The point is that they should have never approached him. And even if they would have told him verbally to leave, okay, that's fine. But they should have never went over there pushing on him and things like that. And you cannot sit here and say, well, that doesn't justify him pulling out a knife. We don't know exactly everything that these two boys did, all right, and how hard they pushed him and what was going on in Anthony's mind. Pierre, we don't know that. Somebody said Austin brother is lying on social media. He's not telling it the way that it happened. Well, if he is lying, it's going to come out, because no one can tell the same story over and over again and be consistent when it's a lie. And see, lawyers don't play around. When they start questioning him, especially Anthony's lawyers, that's when they're going to be able to find out. And plus, when you got these different witnesses all saying stuff, and everybody's saying that Austin pushed first and all this other stuff, and if anybody else say the other brother was in it, like people who are not on that team, you got to see how it's going to turn out. Somebody said Austin brother wasn't the only one who was there. Look up the actual news story and eyewitness article. It doesn't match what they are saying at all. Facts. Somebody said if you pay close attention to all his interviews, he keeps switching up his story, and that will 100% be used in court to show his statements are not reliable. So now he's talking, but he's not telling the same story. Let's see what Jermaine is saying. He didn't just push him. There was a whole verbal altercation before that. I'm only guessing there were threats made both ways. They made up the minds. They were going to charge him before they even know the whole story. Right, because he's black. Okay? Point blank, let's just call it for what it is. Somebody said when the brother and mother ran to white conservative media, I knew he was lying. And with that, people, I didn't need to hear anybody else's opinion. Somebody said, did y'all notice how now the family wants privacy? The whole story about Austin passing on his brother's arms was a lie. Yeah, I thought he passed on. I cannot remember because I thought he passed on at the hospital though. So I can't exactly remember that, but I thought maybe they say he passed on at the hospital. Okay, somebody said, would we be having this same discussion? It was a pew-pew and not a knife. Dude brought a weapon to a school track meet, MEAT. Regardless of that fact, he literally threatened Austin, touch me and see what. He only told Austin that after Austin said whatever he said and started to proceed to push him. Okay? He clearly must have told him he was going to make him leave physically. So Anthony said, touch me and see what happens. All right. Period. That only came after the fact. And someone who goes to school with those two twins said they are known bullies. So I don't know if this is true or not. Okay, somebody else said if the race were reversed, I guarantee all his supporters will be demanding prison time for Austin. If the races were reversed, Austin would not be in prison. Austin would already be at home. Let's keep it real, okay? He would already be at home because they would already said it was self-defense. Somebody said, I really hope this man takes the stand. Well, if he's a witness and the police knows this, he will be on the stand, point blank. Somebody said, if there were so many people around, including adults, KC knew his life wasn't in danger. Is this person a moron? There'd be many teachers around and people around all the time when kids get unalive or beaten the crap out of in schools. What is this idiot right here talking about? All right. And I say idiot because people are around. It doesn't mean a person still can't get their ass beat or unalived. All right. So, I mean, what will the adults really be doing? You know, clearly that scenario don't work all the time. It doesn't work all the time. Kids get beat up all the time and teachers be right there. What are you talking about? Please. And clearly the adults there weren't doing anything because if they would have been doing something, this probably wouldn't have happened. They would have went over there and asked the dude why is he sitting underneath the tent and told him he had to leave. So like I said, I don't know for sure if this dude was a witness or not, but if he is a witness, you know, hopefully the police see this TikTok video and question him. And if he's not a witness and he's lying, then, you know, hopefully, you know, whatever, you know, happens, because that's crazy. Why would anybody make up a story? Somebody said, okay, I have had a weird feeling about all of this. Look at Karmelo's eyes in his mugshot. His eyes say it all. I'm glad to hear my gut instinct is right. He defended himself. Hope he gets a fair trial. And I do. This is a white person saying this too. And I do too. You can look at this young dude's eyes. You can look at him. He was actually concerned about this dude. That's why he asked, was he okay? Okay. He didn't know he had unalived that dude. You know what I'm saying? I don't think he was trying to. He was just trying to defend himself because they were messing with him, point blank. And I agree with this person here, Chrissy. She said at the end of the day, all Twin had to do was mind his business. Now both lives are affected. One lost, one in prison. Justice for Carmelo, I'm sorry. And that's right. I mean, mind your damn business. And just say if you wanted to be like some people are, nosy and doing the most, you can tell them to leave. But if he said no and leave me alone, that's when you go tell the coach. You go and tell the coach. And get this, they weren't on a school property either. All right, they weren't on a school property. This is crazy. Let me say this story right here real quick, y'all. Hold on. Hold on, let me just do this real quick. Let me see what your comment says, Jermaine. Hold on. Jermaine said, free him. Let me put the, oh, what am I doing? Hold on, let's see here. Go back to this other story. I'm on the wrong story. And I want to read this right here too. This is another update right here that I didn't see at first. Hold on. Let me put this up here real quick. Show this on stage. Okay. Now we're going to hide that. Take that. Okay. So a female CEO makes startling accusations against Austin Metcalf that resulted in him being stabbed by, stabbed to, by KarmeloAthon. We're going to call him KA, okay? Here we go. Let's see. The CEO of a financial services company has recently opened up about the whole situation and called out the late Metcalf for bullying Anthony. There we go. All right, there we go. The CEO, Crutchfield, who leads many financial services companies, donated $1,000 to Anthony's defense fund. The Giving Company campaign has raised over $200,000 as more and more supporters are joining in. And I'm so glad they are. And these supporters they are of all races. Okay? Because people know this is not right. They said, let's get this baby home. I have a young Black son as well, and I live in Collin County. This baby was bullied and was defending himself. I know it's more to the story. I'm praying for you and your family. Please let me know how else I can help. And that's what Crutchfield wrote along with her donation. Now, anyway, they said despite these claims, there is currently no substantial evidence to support the assertion that Metcalf was bullying Anthony. Well, listen, I know you guys don't consider that as bullying, but that's what she's talking about when he was bullying Anthony, on that field. The family of Karmelo has also defended him, claiming he was not the aggressor and expressing that the portrayal of the events is misleading. And I think they are too. I really do. So they did show some Austin's image with rifles. All right. Again, honestly, guys, I just wish, people would look at this as the way it needs to be looked at. I mean, bringing up this dude's pictures, holding rifles and stuff like that. I don't think that's really relevant. It could be, but I just don't see it. If he was bullying, well, to me, that would be bullying if they basically, pushing him and things like that. All right, that's bullying, however you want to say it. Okay, so if it's proven that happened, then I still say, and definitely say, it's self-defense, point blank. So all of these pictures of Austin, holding rifles and all this other stuff, for me, is irrelevant. Okay, let's just look at what happened at this on this not soccer field, but on this field, and go from that. So they did, like I said, they did show some pictures which went viral of Austin and his brother holding rifles. Okay. And let's see. And they did say, according to him, KarmeloAthon and other people, Metcalf physically confronted him before he used a knife that led to Metcalf's unaliving. So physically means that he put his hands on him, point blank. Somebody said that Austin was on drugs, and they call him a gun-toting savage thug. Like I said before, guys, I don't know if that's true. All right, let's keep it real. I'm just trying to keep it real. Just because kids, got rifles, and taking a picture, it doesn't mean they are thugs and trying to shoot up people. Let's keep it real. Okay. I don't know about the drug use. I don't know. Maybe this person knows them. I don't know. And again, I don't know how that plays a role into what happened on that field. I just don't know. I mean, I know they're trying to paint pictures of each person, and everything, but still, let's just stick to what we see. We know that this kid was pushing on Anthony. All right. And that's why Anthony used this knife because he felt like his life was in jeopardy. We know that for sure. He said he told the dude not to touch him. Okay, and he meant that. Don't touch me. And those two boys liked their hunting. So that's why they had their rifles in that picture. Okay, they were hunters. So we're gonna put that there. Okay. So anyway, Anthony's father has defended his son as he should. He said he is a sweet kid and emphasizing his good academic standing. And like I told you guys, he's a good kid in school and everything. And so let's see what some of these commenters are saying. Somebody said the CEO is a part of what is wrong with our society that will protect a criminal at the cost of another human being. We can't just unalive someone because. And then somebody came back and said the criminal was the one who attacked an innocent young man minding his own business. You are part of the problem if you can't see that. And I agree with this person right here, Captain Pandemic. They are right. You know, why are you protecting the dude that got unalive? He should have never touched this dude. He should have never been confronting him in the first place. But even if you do confront somebody verbally, you don't put your hands on them physically because anything can happen. Then somebody said you don't go where you don't belong with a weapon without the intention of starting something. Girl, people can have a weapon if they damn want to. Okay, because you have a weapon in your bag or in your purse or in your car. It doesn't mean you're trying to incite violence or do anything violent. You got it for a reason in case somebody mess with you. And like y'all stupid asses don't have GUNs in y'all cars or other weapons just in case. The thing is, it doesn't matter that he wasn't supposed to be there. He was there, but it wasn't Austin's responsibility to confront this little dude. All right, point blank. These two boys weigh 200 pounds apiece. Okay, let's keep it real. Or similar in weight like that. Way bigger than this dude. All right, so of course they would be intimidating this boy. And then you got the whole damn team out there. Them kids don't know what was going to happen. Y'all need to cut that shit out, man, for real. Let's see what else these people are saying. Hold on. Okay, let's read this story. So Karen said if he put his hands on him, you know, if Austin put his hands on him, then Anthony should have put his hands on him, not stabbed him. Girl, shut the crap up. Again, you cannot tell people how they should defend themselves, okay? Keep on with that mentality. Go out here in public with some grown up and you put your hands on them. If you think for 1 minute they just gonna put their hands back on you, you got another thing going if they got something. Okay, they may put their hands back on you and then grab a weapon. You cannot be putting your hands on people, point blank. Keep your hands to yourself and teach your damn kids that before they get unalived. You don't be putting your hands on nobody. My kids know not to touch no one. Okay, no one. You don't touch anyone. Somebody said, what authority did he have to attack him? He don't have any authority, okay, at all. You know, he don't have no reason. And again, people are saying the force used for self-defense should be proportionate to, you know, what the other person did. True, true, true. But the thing is, we don't know exactly what happened entirely. Okay, if it was two people trying to fight him, that may be grounds for excessive force. Okay, period. We don't know. According to the other witness, he said they was punching him. But even if they didn't punch him, just for the two boys to be over there and the one up on him and the other one pushing him off the thing, that may be grounds for him to use whatever type of force he needed to use. We don't know. We weren't there. We need to see a video if they have one. Somebody said George Zimmerman, Kyle Rittenhouse, the Michaels. So I guess all these people, you know, unalive black people and got off. Well, we know Kyle did, and we know George Zimmerman did, okay? I don't know the other dude. And then, of course, like always, somebody always come and damn defend these damn weird people. That is crazy. They got Emmett Till up here. Somebody said, why couldn't Metcalf leave Carmelo alone? Why did he attack him? Wasn't Cal the only one armed? Why did he seek out the people he unalive? Okay. The thing about it, let me stress this again. Austin should have never been putting his hands on this dude. He warned them. He should have took heed to that warning, point blank, period. And it looks like his lawyers are really good, and I hope they are. Okay, they got some good lawyers. It really looks like they do for Anthony. First of all, let me read this one right here. So somebody said, that's not true. Police have already stated that it's a fake report that they did not put out, and 30 plus witnesses say otherwise. There is no self-defense. The kid skipped school, went to an event he was not even a part of, sat in another team's area, refused to move when asked multiple times, and taunted victim. He arrived at the event and went somewhere he knew he was not supposed to be after packing a butcher knife and skipping school. This was planned, which is why police have charged. That was not planned. Shut your ass up, Jen Fisher. All right, shut up. Because it wasn't planned. He didn't even know those kids. What the hell are you talking about? The dude sat underneath the tent because it was raining. He was on his phone. Austin and his brother didn't have no fucking reason to be coming over there putting their hands on this dude. Point blank. They can come and say whatever they want to, but they should have went to the coach and told the coach that he was there, so the coaches can come over there and do what they need to do. Period. What are these people talking about? And what that news article said is that some things may not be true. That's what they said. They didn't say in detail every aspect, everything that may not be true. They did name some things. I don't remember what it was, but they did name some things. And then he said somebody was pretending to be a police officer or something, But the thing is, we know that Austin pushed this boy. Okay, we know that. Somebody said you can quote. Oh, this is something else. Let's see. Hold on. They're arguing. Let's read some of this. Okay, so here we go with another idiot. It's a crime to use a prohibited weapon on school grounds. Didn't they just say he wasn't on school grounds? Okay, and then they say second, who had the advantage? Him being armed with a knife? You can't bring a knife to a fist fight. Oh, yes, you can. Then claim self-defense, period. Yes, you can. I can look up many cases where people use weapons to claim self-defense. One in particular is myself, okay? And it was self-defense, all right? Point blank. Somebody said plenty of people there to help him if he needed it. Why run afterwards and throw away the knife? The same reason why other people run, okay, and throw away stuff. Okay, so it is what it is. He said he did it. He said it wasn't alleged. He did it, and it is what it is. He didn't run away like they trying to act like he ran away from that area, okay, because he probably thought that all the kids would come, and get him or whatever the case is, because he threw the knife down. He didn't throw it away like that because clearly the knife was thrown right there in the bleachers or whatever, the bleachers. And he ran like kids would do. Hey, Drip, what's up, what's up, what's up? And what else did they have here? And you say plenty of people there to help him if needed. Well, these people should have been there before it escalated. Okay, those people, which I hope they're talking about the coaches, should have been there to tell this dude you need to leave because you don't supposed to be here. You're not on the team. Period. It doesn't matter if he skipped school. It doesn't matter about all that. The thing is that if there were coaches there, those coaches are the ones who should have been over there telling this dude to leave. Okay, not those kids. And y'all stop acting damn dumb. Y'all know how kids be, trying to act like they bad and shit and tough and shit. You leave. You better leave. I'm gonna make your ass leave. They probably was, all of them, including Anthony, all probably was talking back to each other. Let's keep it real. These are kids, teenagers, boys. Y'all stop being crazy. So I'm not going to keep on reading these people arguing back and forth. So let's see what else. Okay, so because the thing is that, all these witnesses basically said the same thing that I read, okay? That Austin pushed him. He first started with the verbal asking, and then he went on to a physical altercation. They had a verbal altercation, and then it went on to a physical altercation. Okay, and I find it very hard to believe that Austin would be out there by himself arguing and pushing on this dude, and his twin brother standing right there. I don't believe that. Okay, I don't believe that. Let's keep it real. And I hope that they have actual proof that he wasn't the only one being the aggressor. Okay, point blank. And like this other witness, I hope he's for real and not lying. So let's see. Look at this. So people are so stupid. Let me just read this. No, it was not a public space. You obviously have never been to a track meet. Each team brings their own tent. Is it enough to get yourself on a line for, though? The killer was sitting under a tent that belongs to another school. When the victim asked him to move out of the area, the killer stabbed him in his heart. That is not true. All right. When you tell stuff, tell it the way it should be told. That is not true at all. At all. And again, this other commenter said, according to him and others, Metcalf physically confronted him before he used a knife that led to Metcalf's unaliving. Okay, so he not only physically and verbally. Verbally first, okay, then physically. And what do they think physically confronting mean? If you physically confront someone, that means you're using your hands or something like that. Okay, so if you're using your hands or whatever, a lot of people are going to think about defending themselves. And sometimes they don't defend themselves the way you think. They go hardcore. That's why you don't need to be messing with people. If someone gives you a warning, you need to take heed to that warning. Point blank. You need to take heed to that warning. And somebody lied because that kid does not have a juvenile record. All right. And then they call him a criminal because he defended himself. That's not cool. But yet he's a criminal, but y'all president isn't. Let's keep it real. He's a criminal, but Kyle Rittenhouse isn't. He's a criminal, but George Zimmerman isn't. He's a criminal, but the people who put their foot on that dude's neck isn't. He's a criminal, but these damn him and police officer who shot that Hispanic dude over nothing. He was just sitting there. He was putting his hand in his pocket. That's it. And they unalived him. Okay, so those police officers are not criminals. When the lady who got unalived in her house because the officer thought she was going to throw water everywhere. So I guess those police officers are not criminals for unaliving her for nothing at all because the police officer thought. Y'all crazy as hell. Okay? And somebody said basically the same thing that I said here. The thing is like this. It's simple for me. Austin, he can act verbally if he wanted to, but he should have never put his hands on this kid. Okay? It doesn't matter, okay, about anything else. He should have never touched this dude. All right? He should have went over there to the coaches and told the coaches this guy, the boy or dude or whatever they call him, shouldn't be, he's over here underneath the tent. He doesn't go to school here. He doesn't go to school where we go to school at. He doesn't supposed to be here. And then the coaches would have went over there and told this dude to leave, point blank. And I'm pretty sure it would have been more than one that would have went over there. And I'm thinking that, the kid would have left. You can't go over there and ask someone, right, and be confrontational. It's a way to ask somebody. They could even went over there and said, yo, dude, you can't be here underneath this tent. And then if the dude said, no, don't say shit to me. Then he said, okay. Then you go over there and run over there and tell the coach. You don't get up here like you the top shit and I'm going to make you move. And they think people are just going to they're going to be, taking that in a nice way. And they said some people say he was expelled from school because he took a knife to school. If he did take a knife to school and got expelled, we don't know why he had a knife at school. He could have been bullied. Okay, so always get all of the facts. All right? Y'all talk about the weirdest shit. Talk about those boys who went to schools with GUNs and shot up everybody. And then some people say he went to the tent to stab someone to fight. No, he did not. See how these people just be lying? Okay, and they were not on school grounds. What is the address to that area they were at, Jermaine? Do you know? Let's look this up. Somebody said the criminal was the one who attacked an innocent young man. I'm not going to call anybody a criminal because these are kids. Okay. Somebody said you don't get to stab someone to for bullying. People have shot people and unalive, not just the person, but other kids too, and teachers for bullying. Bullying is a serious thing. That's why you parents need to tell your kids not to bully. All right. Period. Do something about it when your kids are bullying. You find out instead of running your fucking mouth and shit, then something happened to your kids, then you want to cry. Tell your kids to stop their bullying. And that's on everything. Tell them to stop being bullies and do your damn job as a parent, because I did not allow any of my kids to bully anyone, because if they did, they're going to get in trouble by me, period, or their dad. You don't be bullying people, especially in this time, because these kids now take GUNs to school and they shoot up everybody because one person is bullying them, or two or three. So yeah, people do stuff if you are bullying them. Okay, but I don't think this is the case right here, that he was bullied by these kids right here all the time because he didn't know these kids. Okay, he might have been bullied that day, but not all the time. He might have had that knife in his bag because other people could have threatened him or bullied him, and he was carrying it for self-protection. Period. It's not fair for y'all to say he came to that place to unalive somebody. I don't think so. I don't think so at all. Somebody said you can only claim that he felt his life was in danger, which is not. First of all, you cannot tell him how to feel. He might have thought that his life was in danger. Just because you don't think his life is in danger, you weren't there, so you don't know. All right? Let's two men walk up to your ass and tell you to move out of this place, and then they proceed to push your ass and do stuff. What are you going to think? You're going to think that they may be trying to do something else, or they may do something else. So either you're going to try to fight back. If you have a weapon, you may use it, or you may try to run. Let's keep it real. Y'all need to start being for real with yourself. When that dude ran up to my car in that aggressive manner and tried to jump on my car, you know what the first thing I thought about is defending myself, and that's how he got his ass ran over. Period. I'm not getting ready to sit here to try to figure out, is he trying to hurt me or not? Are y'all dead going crazy? If somebody running up on you or somebody pushing on you, the first thing you're going to be thinking about is, let me defend myself. Period. And you're going to use whatever you have to, and it's sad to say, and sometimes it is weapons. That's why you need to keep your hands to yourself. You don't push people, and that's what y'all need to start saying. Yes, it's a shame that Austin lost his life. Okay. I mean, that should have never happened. But at the same time, he shouldn't have never touched that boy. Damn, the boy warned him. I mean, damn, are you hard of hearing? If somebody tell you to leave them alone, you leave them alone. Damn. And these people are arguing back and forth in this damn comment section is plainly ridiculous. This is exactly why, kids act the way they act. This is exactly why people do the things they do. The thing is, everybody need to look at the truth. The truth is this right here. Okay, regardless of what anybody else is saying, this dude did not have a reason to be putting his hand on this young dude. Okay, just because you're sitting somewhere where you don't supposed to be at, that doesn't justify you putting your hands on them at all. If you felt like you didn't want this person there, you should have went to proper authorities, which at that time it was the coaches, and let them know, and they can do everything. And they would have came over there and asked him who he is or whatever. Do you go to the school or whatever? And are you on this track team, which they already know he wasn't. So you have to leave. And if he did not want to leave, then they would call the proper authorities to assist them out of that place if they thought it was necessary. The boy was not doing anything. He was just on his phone. So I don't even know why they was tripping out in the first place. He wasn't doing anything. He was on his phone trying not to get wet. Maybe he was sitting there to clear his mind. We just don't know. He wasn't doing any damn thing. I could see if he was there doing something, but he wasn't doing anything. It's crazy. Let me see. I'm not going to be able to find out any information on this boy because he's, underage. Let's see here. Let's see if we can pull up anything. Hold on. Let's go over here. Let's go to Google and type in his name. I know we're not going to be able to find really no information because they're not releasing anything. See. So now his GoFundMe thing, it's not a GoFundMe, but it's something similar to that. Now they have raised $300,000 for this kid's legal defense. And I'm glad they did because he's going to need all the money that he can get. And like I told y'all, his bond hearing is set for 2 weeks. Okay. Let's see what date it is. April the 14th at 9 a.m. Okay. So his attorneys are named Billy Clark and Kim Cole. Okay. And they tried to get a reduction of his bond. They got his bond at $1 million. Okay. And that's plainly ridiculous. Like he's a threat to the community or he's in threat of leaving the country or something like that. That's plainly crazy. And yet they got other people who did murders along with other things. Their bonds and stuff is way lower. Okay. I mean, this is not right all the way around. It's not right. Crazy. Now, I mean, again, somebody said he's the hero, KarmeloAthon. Okay, listen. Again, over here, we're not going to say anyone is a hero, okay? Because the thing is, it's a tragedy that this even happened. Like I said before, let's take race out of it and everything else. It's a tragedy that it happened, and I wish it wouldn't happen like that, period. I wish that boy would have just went over there and got the coaches, like I keep on saying over and over again. All right, period. There are no heroes in this. All right, just only victims. One victim lost his life. The other one is incarcerated. He may lose his freedom. So there's no heroes. Now, let me just tell you some good news about this boy, Karmelo. 3 years ago, he saved a young boy from drowning. If it wasn't for him, that little child would have drowned. 3 years ago. He's all in the newspaper and everything. Let's see. Yep, he was really looking younger then. He said, I don't know what I did. I just ran in there. I felt like it was instinct. And so this is him right here when he was, yep, that's him, a KarmeloAthon, when he was a little kid. Because he's what, 17? I'll say he was 14 then, 14, 15, 16, 17, yeah. When he saved the kid's life from drowning. And they hugging on. This is a white little boy, it looks like. Yep. Let's see what they're saying right here. Jermaine just sent me stuff. Yeah, they never met him. And like I said before, it couldn't be no bullying like that. I mean, they could have bullied him that day, but not nowhere else because they never met. Okay? They never met Anthony at all. Period. All right? And I don't like the way they got that. They got who lashed out violently within moments of a mere seating dispute. Listen, y'all stop writing up this shit like this. Now, his brother said, I never met this kid in my life. Okay. And he said that whole entire thing happened under 30 seconds. Yeah, they didn't know each other. Like I said before, they did not know. Thank you, Jermaine. Okay, they didn't know. And again, they said that this little twin is telling different stories, okay, back and forth. I don't know because I haven't checked out all of his stories, but that's what they said, okay? You said you stay in survival mode at all times. A lot of people do. That's why I said I don't know why people are sitting around here acting like they ass don't carry weapons. I carry weapons all the damn time. I'm not trying to unalive somebody. It's only for self-defense just in case. I have always carried weapons, and I mean more than one. So, I mean, you know, I know somebody who carry like 3 or 4 GUNs on them. All right. So it doesn't mean you're trying to unalive people. It just means you're just trying to stay ready because people are crazy. And like I said, we don't know what Karmelo was going through. He may have been bullied at his school, in his neighborhood. Just because they live in Frisco don't mean there's no bullies there. Okay. And y'all know I lived in DFW myself, so I know where Frisco is. Okay. And I just don't see this little boy. I'm looking at a picture of him. There's no way this little boy is a murderer and what these people are trying to say a criminal. Okay. And I think that I don't know who this other person, I don't know if that's his mother or his and I don't know who all these people are, brother, mother, and him. I don't know. But that's him in this picture right here. And I'm not gonna show it because he's a minor. You know what I'm saying? So the stadium is Kaikendo Stadium. It's located at 6950 Stadium Lane, Frisco, Texas. So how far is that from the school, Jermaine? Can you look that up real quick? Because that's not on school property. Okay, let me just Google something. See, people just say anything online. Over here on Shades 2, we investigate stuff to see if they're telling the truth. All right. Let's see if I got time. Let me look. And if I was living in Texas, I would drive there and show y'all. I'm not joking. I would show you. I could ask a relative to do it, you know. It's not on school property, okay? The schools use it. Let's see. Oh, let's see if it's on the school property for sure. Let me look it up. Hold on. Yeah, I'm getting ready to look and see. Okay, so this is it. Oh, they telling me something else. Here it is right here. Okay, let's see. So the owner of that property, according to this, hold on. Well, let me make sure this is the same thing. Am I looking at the right thing here? David, is it David Kayakendo Stadium? Is that the same stadium? Let's see what that address is. I think that is the same place. I don't know for sure. Let's see. Is this the address? Let's see. No, this is a different address. Okay. No. I'm looking at something else. Let me look at this. Yeah, this is the right. No. This is a different address, you guys. This one right here is 6927 Stadium Lane. You got 6950 Stadium name. Okay, let me go to the right one. This is not the same one. See, that's what they probably did. They probably did the same thing I just did and looked at the wrong address. Let me put the actual address in there. Let's see what comes up. See, people don't investigate fully. That's why they don't be knowing. Over here, we're going to investigate all the way. Let's put the actual address in there. That dang medicine make me sick at the stomach, man. Let's see. I got this spelled wrong because I be typing wrong. Let's see what they say now if this is the same address. So this is the stadium right here. Okay, this is the state, but that may be still the same one because they got the same name. 6950 Stadium Lane, Frisco. Even got the name. Let's see. So a lot of football people go there to play. Okay, high school football teams. Plus they play soccer, lacrosse, all that there. Let's see. Bear with me. I'm just trying to see how they got this done. Let's see. Let's see what they say right here. So they say it stands as they have concerts there too, you guys. Public arts, concert theater, musicals. And this is a public stadium, okay? It's a venue within the Frisco community. Hold on. Well, it is a high school stadium, okay? It is a high school stadium. Let's see. And it is owned by the Frisco Independent School District. So it's owned by Frisco ISD School District. All right. So even if he does get self-defense, he may still get charged for having that knife on school property. Because it's not school. I think it's still considered school grounds if it's if Frisco ISD owns it. You see what I'm saying? That's what I think. Yeah, I see, Jermaine. I already see that, but I'm looking up the information here to say that it's part of Frisco ISD. Let me ask Google, is that school property? Let me do the cover. Let's see. Hold on, y'all. Let me see. Let me go back. Let's see if we can see. Copy. Let's go back. Okay, it's Kidder Stadium in Frisco, Texas, on school grounds. Let's see if it is. It hosts high school games, okay? And they did say Frisco ISD owns it, okay? So I'm thinking that it is part of school's property, if I'm not mistaken. But that's irrelevant. I mean, it's relevant, but it's not, because the thing is, he can still be charged. You know, he can still get self-defense, but then get a lesser charge for having a concealed weapon on school grounds. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, let's see. So we just found it out. So it's part of a school. The school, the Frisco ISD, owns that property, period. And they play high school games there and have concerts and stuff there, And they was having that track meet there at that particular time, okay? So now they got enhanced security because of the stabbing. And so there we go. Let's see what else they got on here. See, they don't have like real when they talk about this case and stuff, they don't go into full, description about what happened either. They're only telling you little bitty things. Yeah, I mean, same thing all the way around. I think, like they say, a lot of social media people are getting up here, adding stuff and things like that. I just hope, like I said, the witness that was on TikTok, I hope he's not lying. He's showing his face though. So I don't think he is lying. Because why would you show your face and everything else if you're lying? Because you can get charges. So I doubt it. He probably is telling the truth. He said he was there with his 2 kids. And I'm pretty sure, the police department can see that same video and then find out who he is and question him point blank. So I doubt very seriously that he's lying. Let's see what this person is saying. Hold on, let's see. Okay, so this is another witness. So here we go. They say he was sitting under the Memorial High School pop-up tent with the rest of his team. Austin was. The victim and the suspect were sitting nearby. Now, everybody says that. I even said the same thing. Even that dude said that, okay? Oh, let's read this. In Texas, bringing a knife onto school premises is generally illegal, regardless of blade length. Under Texas Penal Code 4603, possessing or going with a location restricted knife, defined as a knife with a blade over 5.5 inches on school ground, is a felony offense. However, even knives with shorter blades are prohibited on school premises, as schools are designated as. Okay. So he, like I said, even if he gets self-defense, he may have another charge, for having that weapon there, because it is a weapons-free zone. All right. I mean, which would be understandable. That part right there, it really would be. Okay. So let's see what else this witness is saying. So they say Anthony was from Centennial High School and was sitting under the Memorial High School tent. The victim had told Anthony that he needed to move out from under their team's tent, and Anthony grabbed his bag, opened it, and reached inside and proceeded to tell the victim, "Touch me and see what happens." No one really thought Anthony really had any weapons in his bag, and the victim proceeded to touch Anthony, and then Anthony told the victim to punch him and see what happens. A short time later, but why would he say punch him? Unless the person was telling him he would punch him. Then they said a short time later, the victim grabbed Anthony to tell him to move, and Anthony pulled out what the witness recalled as a black knife. So here we go. Let's look at this entire story again. When they tell stuff, they don't realize what they're saying. Okay. Anthony was sitting underneath that tent right there by them. All right. Austin told Anthony, or his brother, I don't know which one, told him that he needed to move from the tent. Anthony grabbed his bag, opened it, and reached inside. And then he told the victim, "Touch me and see what happens." Let's stop right there. So if you see him touching his bag, grabbing his bag, telling you, "Touch me and see what happens," you don't continue to go on. You say, "Okay, let me go over here and tell." You don't even tell him that. You just go over there and tell the coach. All right, the coaches. So then when he said, "Touch me and see what happens," this witness said nobody thought that he had anything in his bag. In this day and time with people carrying GUNs to school and everything else. So anyway, Austin thought it was a great idea to go ahead and touch Anthony. And then Anthony told the victim to punch him and see what happens. So if he touched him, if Austin touched Anthony, and then Anthony told him to punch me and see what happens, why did Anthony say that? Why would he just come out and say punch me unless Austin said I'll punch you? Because it doesn't make any sense for Anthony just to say punch me and see what happens. And remember, that's after Austin proceeded to touch Anthony. Anthony told him, punch me and see what happens. And then Austin went on to grab Anthony to tell him to move. No, he grabbed him to move him out of the way. Said the way it is. He grabbed him to put his ass out of that tent. All right? And that's when that dude went in there and got that black knife and stabbed Austin once in the chest, and then he ran. Now, they say they did not know Anthony, but let me ask you guys this. We didn't think about this. They don't know Anthony. So how do they know he was from Centennial School? They didn't know Anthony, you guys, but how did they know he was from another school? Because did he have on a jersey that has Centennial on it? Because he had on a hoodie or something. So on his hoodie, did it have Centennial High School on it? So how did they know he was from Centennial High School? Jermaine, how did they know that he was from Centennial High School? So you got a second witness right here too. Okay. He said they all were sitting on the bleachers under a Memorial High School tent when another male who did not know walked over and sat under the tent. The witness then said victim told this male that since he did not go to Memorial, he had to leave the tent. The victim and the male went back and forth, and then the victim stood up and pushed the male to get him out of the tent. The witness has said during this time of arguing, the male was reaching around in his bag he had. It was at that time the male took out a knife and stabbed the victim and then left the scene. Okay, so those are two different stories right there somewhat. Okay, so he said they were sitting, Austin got up and proceeded to push the male to get him out of the tent. And that's when, again, Austin, in every account, Austin put his hands on him first, and then the kid pulled out the knife. Okay, period. So again, I don't feel like he should have been asking him shit. I mean, he can if he wants to, but you don't need to take it any further. What he should have been doing is going to tell the coaches. And I'm going to keep on saying that. Now, you don't know what, Jermaine. What was the question I asked you? Because I forgot what it was. Just that quick. And I wonder if they questioned all of the witnesses yet. The witness that was just on TikTok, who was telling his side, I wonder, like I said, if the police questioned, let me turn this down, if the police questioned him, okay? Because if he actually is a witness, you would think that they would have questioned him as well, okay? Point blank. Okay. Let's see. How do I know? No, what I'm asking, I'm not asking if you know. I said, how do they know what school this dude went to? You don't listen. I said, how did they know what school? Then when they met the dude, they said he did not go to their school. They knew that he went to Memorial High School. No, Centennial High School. How did they know that if they didn't know the kid? Nobody asked that question. If you don't know somebody, how do you know what school they go to? He could not even be in school. He could be homeschooled. Hold on, y'all. Let me get a snack real quick. Hold on, y'all. Let me get a snack. I don't want to eat on the phone. Hold on, y'all. Let me give me a little snack. I don't want to be eating on the phone. Y'all probably gonna still hear me though. What I'm saying is, how do these kids know what school this boy go to if they didn't know him? They said when they saw him, of course they would know he don't go to their school. But how do they know that he went to Centennial School? Unless when they was talking to him and arguing with him, he said, I go to Centennial High School. And I think that whole argument lasted longer than 30 seconds. Okay? Those 30 seconds like this. I believe it lasts longer than 30 seconds. Okay? Maybe the stabbing itself lasted 30 seconds, but the whole entire situation, it happened longer than 30 seconds. 30 seconds is quick. In order for him to be asking him verbally, you don't go to telling him you don't go to the school, so you need to move out this tent. You already done used up 5 seconds right there. Okay. Then they was arguing back and forth. That's probably another 10 or 15 seconds, if not longer. And then Austin got up and pushed him. That's some more seconds. Then the dude took out the knife and stabbed him. There had to be more than 30 seconds. You know, let me stop eating on this camera. Hold on, y'all. But anyway, I'm going to keep you guys updated on this entire situation, this case. And I do hope that this kid gets self-defense, because I really feel like he was defending himself and he was scared. I really do think that. I know he didn't intentionally mean to unalive this kid. I can tell. He's a good kid. I don't know if he did get a spell from school for carrying a knife, but we don't know if he did get a spell. We don't know the circumstances around that. He could have been getting bullied in school. We just don't know. And his reason for carrying that knife is probably because of some type of situation that happened. And they may know this already. They're just not going to, tell the public and stuff. But this whole entire situation could have been avoided if only Austin and his brother would have just went and got the coach once they verbally said something to this kid. That's the grown up handle everything. And it would have had a different ending. All right. So y'all tell me what y'all think in the comment section regarding this. And we're going to move on, because Lord knows I stayed on this topic for an hour and 38 minutes. And we still need to talk about Gene Hackman. And I forgot what else I had on here. Gene Hackman and let's see. Let me look and see, y'all, because I forgot. I got to go to my page because I forgot. Let's see here. Let's go to Shades Tube. I need to check to see real quick. Oh, we need to talk about Diddy's jury selection, and then Gene Hackman, and then we're going to be finished with this live, okay? All right, let me put these chips down. Wait a minute, y'all. And I was actually eating some honey barbecue Frito Twists. Those things are so good. Now, let's go ahead and go into the next story, which is Gene Hackman's horror house, okay? Let me change the banner real quick. You say you simulated what? A trial on the current information on Chat GPT. Oh, really? Okay, so how do you go to that? Okay, let me go ahead and go to Gene Hackman real quick, you guys. Hold on. Let me go to the media thing real quick. I'm always on another whole entire board. No banners. What am I talking about? Okay, let's see. Where we at here? And my prayers are extending out to I forgot to say my prayers are extending out to Austin's and condolences family, you know, his friends and classmates and teammates and things like that. And you know, I'm sorry for their loss. And at the same time, my prayers are extended out to Anthony's family and him and for him as well. And I do hope that, you know, they do the right thing. Okay, because I really do feel like this was self-defense, point blank. I really do. So let's go ahead and talk about Gene Hackman real quick, y'all. Oh, let me turn that dryer back on. Hold on for a minute, y'all. Hold on for 1 minute, please. Okay, hold on, y'all, for 1 minute. About 2 minutes. I'll be right back. Okay, so the next story we have, guys, is the Gene Hackman story, which they call his house a horror house, okay? Let me go to it real quick. So let's go over here. Oh my God, this dude is so damn annoying. All right, let's see. I'm gonna see Gene Hackman. Hold on, I got to find the story, y'all, first, okay? Damn, it's so far back here. I got to find it. Hold on. Let's see. So here we go right here. And I wish I could show it to you guys, but once again, like I said, since my computer mic is not working, it's going to be impossible. But you can go to Radar Online to see the pictures, okay? Anyway, as you guys know, Gene Hackman and his wife were both found unalive in their home. They say that the wife was found unalive due to the Hanta virus, okay, which she contracted that from some sort of mouse, whether it's droppings or what, we don't know. And then they think that Gene passed on from dementia, I believe. I think he had dementia, as well as some underlying heart issues, okay? Because they did say the wife passed on first, and then Gene probably passed on a week and a half to 2 weeks later. So we can imagine that it was probably hard for him to take care of himself. He probably didn't even know his wife had passed on. And the dog probably passed on from starvation because the dog was inside of a cage, because I think they had just picked him up from the vet because he had some type of hip surgery or something like that. I can't remember. Anyway, they claim that his house was left littered with trash and piles of garbage before he passed on. Okay. Now, I don't like the way they got this written up, the way they use these words, so I'm not going to read those. It's a hot ass mess. They don't have no compassion for people losing people, so I'm not going to read that part. So let's see here. So anyway, they released some new body cam footage, and it revealed a home with a lot of trash and garbage everywhere. Now, like I said, I can't show you this. You can go to Radar online and you can see it. They said trash bags were dropped on the yard. And I'm looking at the pictures right now, and it's actually trash bags on the yard. This is crazy. And they claim that Hackman and his wife lived a hermit lifestyle. They hid away with their 3 dogs. Okay. So anyway, shaky video showed a large trash bag lying on a patch of what looks to be artificial grass. Dog toys can be seen scattered all around. They said the yard looked unkept, with the grass and trees growing out of control, and leaves that had fell on the ground were still, on the ground waiting to be swept up. They said various pieces of pottery were placed around the backyard in a hazardous way, while a small fold-up table and chair set was covered in different items. Damn. When they looked inside the house, they said the house on the inside was more cluttered. Okay. They said the furniture and objects were thrown around. One neighbor said the inside of the house was shocking. They did not have a housekeeper or maid. So it had beautiful things, furniture and paintings, but there was dog poop on the floor. What? They also said the inside of the house was bad. Nothing had been dusted. There was nothing in the fridge. This is crazy, y'all. And I know this couldn't just happen all within that week to week and a half. So he had Alzheimer's. I thought they just said dementia. I guess he had both. Yeah, they got Alzheimer's and dementia. Now they did say, since the wife has passed on, that Hackman, who had dementia, he could have unknowingly, shuffled aimlessly around his house, leading to the unkept conditions until he passed on February the 17th. But the thing about it, if this is true, then why would the neighbors say that the house was not like the way it should be on the inside? They had beautiful things, but it wasn't kept tidy. Some people said that they saw him at a local coffee house. They said he looked a little grizzled, but in good shape. He seemed kind of sad and lonely. And then somebody else said the house was horrible. Gosh. When they bought the house, they said that it was a 1950s block building that just sat empty and had deteriorated. But Hackman and his wife transformed the home. Okay. They did some renovation and some other things. That's crazy. So what do you guys think about that? Let me read some of these comments. Somebody says, so what? A lot of elderly people don't keep up with their homes, especially those with dementia. When you get older, it takes at least 3 times as long as it used to take to get something done. Okay. No, I don't. I mean, of course, it takes older people longer to clean up. That's why you hire a house cleaner. And his wife was not as old as him. Okay, she was 65, so she could have did some things, you know. And you can always hire someone. So I mean, I don't see that being an excuse. Now, they said some of these things probably could have happened, when his wife passed on. But I find it very hard to believe that all of these things happened after the wife passed on. I could see dog feces being out there in the yard or the house or wherever because the dogs probably was just using the bathroom. I don't know why they would use it outside. I mean, in the house though, if they were free to go outside. So I mean, that's kind of weird. And like somebody said, Gene did not have dementia all his life or anything. No, I believe they also was living in this stuff as well. And somebody else saying the same thing. There's no way all of this could have transpired within that week and a half, a week or two, since that lady passed or his wife. You know, dust takes a while to build up. Yeah, it can build up, but usually it don't build up in no week. All right, I haven't dust yet, and this house is not dusty. Okay, it usually takes a while for dust to build up like that. You know, and I know what I'm talking about because I used to help this older lady back in 2018, right before CV-19, and her ass couldn't do shit. She was getting on my nerves because she was doing too much, and I had to finally, terminate our little friendship and stuff. But anyway, before I terminated our friendship and everything was going great, I used to go over her house, take her to the store, have my kids open all her cans and stuff. Her damn house had so much dust in it, y'all, and that's because she wasn't dusting. Okay, she wasn't doing any of that. It was like build up dust from probably damn years and stuff. Okay. And they try to dust. It was hard for the dust to come off. That's why it was on there longer, because when dust be on your furniture for a long time, it's harder to get off. If it's on there for a short time, you can just wipe it off. Okay. And plus, you can look at the dust. I mean, you can see it from a far distance. If dust is on your furniture for only a short amount of time, it's not as thick. All right. So I know that dust was there on that furniture for longer than a week and a week and a half. I'm sorry. And like I said, with the dog defecating on the floor, I still don't understand how a dog would do that if the door was open, because they said the dogs were outside running in and out. So why would the dog use the bathroom on the floor? But then again, I mean, the dogs could have did that within that time. All right. And then what else did they say? Trash on the ground, a trash bag. That could have happened, while he was there. He didn't know where his wife was at or anything else. He probably didn't even know his wife was alive. That could have happened then, but I think they probably wasn't as clean as they should be. And that's probably why a mice probably got in that house that had the Hunter virus. And they had enough money to hire somebody too. No food in the fridge. So he probably was hungry the whole time. And that's another thing too. Usually when people go shopping, you would think they would buy enough food for at least 1 or 2 weeks, just in case something happened when you can't go to the store. Because they had a lot of money. So they didn't have to, do like regular people do. Just buy a little food and go back and all that stuff. Some regular people, you know. So I'm just trying to figure out why was that. And then somebody said the dogs could have tore the trash bags looking for food. They could have, like I said, the trash bag could have got there many different ways within the week and a half. The wife was unalive. Just like the dogs could have made a mistake and pooped on the floor. But the dust on the furniture and stuff, for it to be that thick, they had to be there for a while. And no food in the refrigerator. If she would have went shopping before, because he probably know how to cook or nothing, he probably couldn't. It would still be some type of food in the refrigerator. You know what I'm saying? It seemed like it would still be some type of food in the refrigerator. Somebody said, can you imagine a 65-year-old woman taking care of a 95-year-old man with zero help? Of course, their house and yard was cluttered. Hell, I'm in my 50s and it takes everything I can do to keep my house and yard up. Quit being so judgmental. Let them rest in peace. First of all, in your 50s, you should still be able to clean up pretty good. Okay. The thing about they weren't poor. Okay. 65, 95. Okay. You could easily hire somebody to help you. You're not talking about some poor woman or middle-aged couple. I mean, not middle-aged, some middle-income couple who can't afford a housekeeper. These people are millionaires, okay? So you can easily hire someone to come in there and keep the place clean. There's no excuse for that, period. You say what now? Oh, you still on a simulated trial based on the current information on Chat GPT. It found Carmelo guilty of manslaughter. Okay. I hate to say it. I mean, I can see that too. I mean, I really can, but it may be. We just don't know. Hey, Looney Tunes, thank you so much for tuning in. Good morning to you. And that is why they had rats, because they weren't clean. I'm not rich. When I moved in this house, I had a housekeeper come in here and clean it. And I called her back to clean again. And I also have a handyman that comes by. I'm not rich. These people were loaded. That's another thing. It's so damn weird because, I know she wanted to do everything herself and take care of her husband and everything. But at 65 years old, you're going to get slower. You're going to get tired quicker. So you would think with all that money, you would hire somebody to come and help you. Okay. And at the same time, even if you don't feel like going to the grocery store, you got Uber Eats, DoorDash, all these services, Instacart. Don't you think that one of them should have brought food? And if that food would have sat outside, or when they came back the next week to bring food again, the people who delivered the food would have noticed that the food wasn't taken off the porch. They said they were living like hermits, though. Let's not forget that. So I guess she was doing everything, at least trying to. But now I'm thinking, because the house was dirty, they had rats. Hold on for 1 second, y'all. And that's why she got the Hunter virus. Somebody said Betsy was only 65 years old in the picture of health. She only got sick within the last few weeks of her life. Somebody said those conditions where they live, it was long standing. I firmly believe that she is the reason they were so isolated. She turned family and friends away. Honestly, I hate to say this, I do too. And I believe that she was trying to do everything herself from what I read. Okay. And I also said, like I said, the feces could have gotten there for the dogs. The trash could have happened while she was on the line. But all that dust and shit and no food in the refrigerator, no. Because even if somebody do pass on, if you are buying enough groceries, those groceries will still be in the refrigerator, okay? If you were cleaning up, part of the house will still be clean. The only part that would be messed up is the part that Jean was in and didn't know what to do. You see what I'm saying? And plus you wouldn't see so much dust. Now, I don't know why They felt like it was a need to tell us all about this, but it wasn't what Radar Online, So I guess they just are basically, explaining why the house is so filthy. Okay. So somebody said, I don't think the wife wanted anybody else in that mansion. Also, don't think that she thought that he would live that long. He fooled her, or there would have been nurses going in and out of that mansion. Somebody would have known them people were unalive. I don't know if she thought that he wouldn't live long. I don't think she really thought about that, because from everything that I read, it seems like she was trying to make sure that he lived as long as he could, because she had him eating very healthy and doing all types of stuff. So I don't know if I believe that right there. I think she was trying to have him live as long as he could. You know what I'm saying? I really do. And I think that she may have been one of those types. Now, some people are like so in touch with nature, you know, they don't do certain things. They may clean, but they don't clean like we will because they don't use no chemicals. I think she may have been something like that. I don't know for sure. I'm just guessing, just based on the stuff that I was reading about her and him and how she cooked his food and everything else, make sure he ate correctly, all types of stuff. So I don't know. It's just weird, Right. So Jermaine said this whole thing is dumb. With their resources, this should have never happened like this. Right. You know, you got to, I don't give a damn what type of life you want to live, being a hermit or whatever. You got to have somebody coming in and clean up if you can't do it. And again, because I understand, when you get older, you don't feel like doing stuff, but they were rich. They're not like us. You know what I'm saying? Where we would probably find it difficult to hire someone to come and clean up, especially if you're on a fixed income or whatever, and it depends on how much your fixed income is. And plus, older people don't really want people coming into their house because, so many people be trying to take advantage of older people. That's why a lot of older people downsize and get a smaller place so it's easy for them to take care of, like a 1-bedroom apartment or something, with everything on the first floor with a little small living room, bedroom, a little kitchen, so it can be easy for them to do everything. They maybe have a home health nurse come in, going through Medicare or whatever. Yeah. But you still got to be careful because you never know who's in your house. So, but them, since they were loaded with money, I mean, I don't see why she didn't hire somebody to come and clean. And that's another thing. If somebody was coming there to clean, they would have seen her unalive, and possibly Jean would still be alive. We just don't really know. But anyway, that's their house, guys. That's what they said it looked like. And that's all I can say about that. It's a sad situation what happened to them. And that's why I say you cannot be a hermit, especially when you get older like that, because someone should always be coming by, even if it is just the yard people or cleaners or your cook or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Somebody should be coming by checking, because you just never know. All right. So now let's go ahead and go into the next story. This is the final one for tonight. Before I go into that one, though, I want to tell y'all about this other story real quick. What time is it? Oh, so we're doing good on time. So let me hurry up. We're only going to spend like 10 minutes on this other story, okay? I just want to tell you guys about it real quick. Let me change this real quick. Hold on, let me go down and get it. Oh, man. Did I tell y'all about Diddy? I didn't even update you. I got to do that too, so let me hurry up. Hold on. Trying to find it. Hold on, y'all. One quick second. So this is about a Georgia team, you guys. Let me take Hackman thing down real quick on the banner. I hear that TV just a little bit. Hopefully y'all can't hear it. Oh, I'm on the wrong thing. Let me see how to do this. Hold on, y'all. I got to figure out how to do this. Let's see. Damn, how did I change this before? Oh, I have to do it like this. On this phone, man, it's so different. So this is a Georgia team. What is his name? Adrian Jelks. Okay, hold on. All right, so since we was talking about self-defense, I want to tell y'all real quickly about another case. All right, so Adrian Jelks, he just received a sentence of 70 years in jail. They said since then, his case has caused widespread upset in his community, with some describing it as a grave injustice. Anyway, according to Fox 5, the teenager and another person were taken into custody last April in relation to a fatal shooting at Walmart in Fayetteville, Georgia. I used to live in Fayetteville. They were detained and denied bond. Jelks, then 19, was charged with shooting and unaliving 19-year-old Riverdale resident Antavius Houghton and injuring a 9-year-old girl on March the 29th. At the time, Jelks, who worked at the store, Walmart, fled the scene in a car that was later discovered abandoned, police said. Now, in early April, he allegedly turned himself in to the authorities. Jelks insisted, however, that he acted in self-defense during a dispute at work, although there was enough proof to support his claims. He was recently found guilty of Houghton's shooting, unaliving, his family said. Anyway, this T, had no criminal history before, but on March the 29th, 2024, an argument with Houghton, a former Walmart employee, escalated at the store where Jakes worked in Fayetteville. Okay? So Jakes had recorded many incidents of Houghton's harassment and threats and reported them to Walmart management in accordance with company policy. Yet store management did not take protective measures. Okay, let's see what else they got here. Anyway, hold on. So they said the prosecutor's case appears to be riddled with procedural errors. The release claimed, adding that security camera evidence that allegedly captured the whole incident and may have verified Jelks' testimony was kept from his defense team. The crime scene was contaminated by shoppers and bystanders, which compromised important evidence, according to the release. So let's see what else they got here. So the most concerning, advocates said in the release, is the testimony of Fayetteville County Police Officer Thomas Scott, who at the trial allegedly stated that Houghton was carrying a GUN at the time of the killing. This important piece of evidence, which the jury seemed to have overlooked, supports Jelks' claim of self-defense, the release said. Anyway, they said the legal proceedings themselves raised serious concerns, according to the release, which further claimed that Jelks was never properly indicated and his trial went forward without addressing this basic violation of due process. Now, many people have criticized that the 70-year sentence is very extreme and is extremely unjust, particularly in a case where there were evident aspects of self-defense. So, I don't know. I mean, if I understand the story correctly, he got into an argument with this other co-worker, and he must have pulled out his GUN. They got into a physical altercation, and he pulled out his GUN and shot him and unalived him. And I think it said that he was being harassed by this other worker for a long time, and that's why he was carrying a GUN on him, if I understand that correctly. All right. He also made complaints about that employee. Now, I don't know why they did not release the store cam footage to aid in his defense. So hopefully, his lawyers will file whatever paperwork they need to file to make sure that, this trial is retrialed. I mean, I don't know what you call that when you do a trial again. Retried, I guess. That's what I think that the lawyers should be fighting for, because why wasn't the security footage released so you can see exactly what happened? And somebody said he unalived the guy. And then somebody else said maybe he bought it to work because of the harassment. And I'm thinking he probably did too. Somebody said you can't leave the scene and say it's self-defense. Then you abandon the car. It's not about the truth and feelings. It's about the motive and actions. I didn't see the video, but from the outside looking in, everything he did sounds guilty. Unfortunately, even if you felt like it was self-defense, you got to call the cops and stay on the scene, because the DA is going to ask you, why did you leave it if you were innocent? And stand your in a stand your ground state where GUNs are as legal as weed in Jersey or Cali. Well, I don't know. Okay, you would think that they would stay, but people get scared when they have to unalive someone, whether it's self-defense or not. So a lot of people be trying to get out of leave. Let's keep it real. Somebody says, is there a proof of self-defense? And why would that not be presented in evidence? That's what I'm trying to figure out. What happened to the video to show exactly what happened? That's why I said they need to, go back and try to have another case, another court date to see, because you would think they would have included the Walmart video footage to show exactly what happened. Somebody said, what was he doing with the GUN at work? I'm not saying it wasn't self-defense. It doesn't say if the person he shot had a GUN. Was he a lot larger? Doesn't give a lot of details. So they said that the former employee that got unalive is the one that had the GUN. It says that the other guy had a GUN as well. I don't know if both of them had one, but I know the other one definitely did. But 70 years in jail, in prison, and it possibly could be self-defense is crazy. But I don't think they see it as self-defense. I really don't. I believe they think that, that he just basically unalived the dude. Okay? But that's just another prime example of somebody trying to call self-defense and they still end up getting charged. But like I said, if that camera footage, video from Walmart shows something totally different, that should have definitely been showed. It should have been shown to, the jury and stuff. But that's crazy, though. Let's read your comment. You said self-defense is a complex thing in the heat of the moment. And I agree. That's why I said it's just hard, man. Unless you just use a self-defense immediately, and you remember that certain things you can't do, then you can possibly use it. It's like when I hit that dude, I didn't back up and run over him again, because if I would have did that, that would have been excessive, because I had already escaped. So why would I back up and hit him again? That would be crazy. That would be excessive force. So in this situation right here, I don't know exactly about this case. I don't know exactly what happened in this case, play by play. But from what I just read, I don't know for sure if it's self-defense or not. From what I just read, it's just, I don't know. I probably would have to read the whole thing and look at it more in detail. But I do think they should have used that video footage from Walmart. Somebody said, why was he carrying a GUN if he was a good kid? That's the most stupidest question I ever in my life seen. So if you're saying him carrying a GUN means that he's a bad person, then I guess a lot of other people who carry one must be bad. He could be carrying a GUN for many different reasons. They said that he was getting harassed at work, so he may be carrying it for that reason. Or, maybe he lived in a dangerous neighborhood. You just never know. And some people just carry one of them just in case of a carjacking or some other type of robbery. Just many different reasons. Period. But I think 70 years is a little bit excessive. 70 years in prison. Yeah, a retrial. Somebody said hopefully he gets a retrial with all the evidence out for all to see. Withholding a video that shows what happened and should have been seen by the jury is just cause, I would think. And I say the same thing. So like I said, unless I look at this story in depth and stuff and look at the other video stuff, that's the only way I can really say if that's self-defense or not. It just all depends, you guys. They say he was being bullied and harassed and everything else. I always say that word crazy as hell, but all of that, you got to take all that into account, period. Okay. So I just wanted to tell you a little bit about another similar case. It's not exactly like this other guy's case, but it's similar. And let's just hope that his outcome is not like this person's outcome, period. Now, let me go ahead and tell y'all the Diddy news real quick. And then the last little thing, and that'll be it, which I forgot about already. I have to read this. Okay, so now we're going to do Diddy real quick. Okay, y'all? Hold on for a second. Let me do this. Okay, let's see. We're going to put that up there. Okay, now we're going to go over some Diddy stuff. All right, so I did say that they are basically getting ready to start selecting a jury. Now, what I'm still trying to find it, finding it hard to believe that they can get people up on that stage, not stage, but up there, and they never heard of Sean Combs or this situation that Combs is involved in. All right. I don't understand how they can get people like that, because I'm trying to figure out, because I'm trying to listen, because we already know that Sean Combs is known around the world. So where did they find the people in the jury? Where do they find them at? Because I'm telling you, old, young, kids, they all know about Puffy. It's just crazy. But anyway, like I said, they are getting ready to start the jury selection. Let me look up this real quick. Hold on, y'all. So on May the 5th, they are going to start with their jury selection, okay? And when I say jury selection, let's see, what is jury selection?
According to Superior Court of Trinity, once you have been directed to a courtroom, the clerk will call 12 to 18 names from a random list, and these people will take seats in the jury box. The remaining prospective jurors will remain seated in the courtroom. The judge will explain what the case is about and introduce the lawyers and parties to you.
But the thing about it, I'm still going to say this. How do they not know about Sean Combs? It's hard to believe that no one knows that they can find people that don't know anything about this dude. That's crazy. So I guess since they're going to do that jury selection on the 5th, so that court date itself, I wonder when that's going to happen, because like that other article that I was reading out to you guys said that the actual court date would be on May the 7th. So maybe that's the reason why they put that, because they knew that on the 5th it was going to be a jury selection. That's crazy. And so they're going to have 6 people up there, right? Yeah. So again, y'all, that starts on the 5th of May. All right. And I'm still trying to figure out how can they get people that don't know anything about this case, haven't heard any information about it or anything. I don't know. That's tripped out. Let's see what else we got. Let's see here. Hold on, y'all, for a second. Let me get up here and find this. I think I covered everything with Diddy. Trying to make sure. Hold on. Yeah, I think I did, because I think I went over all this. So yeah, other than him, it's they're getting ready to do this jury selection. That's it. And I gave you guys a lot of information about Puffy Combs earlier today. So go back and take a look at that video to find additional information about him in his pending case. Let me see what they're saying right here. So they're just basically going over the same thing that I told you guys about earlier. So we're not going to read that. All right. So that's it for Sean Combs. Tell me what you guys think about the jury selection. Tell me how would they find, if you know, excuse me, people who do not know anything about Diddy? How would they find these people? Unless they use like all really old people who never heard of Puff Daddy. But even some older people know who he is. You know what I'm saying? So I'm still trying to find it hard to believe. So how do you guys think they will find the people they need for the jury? That's crazy. All right. Right there, I just don't see him having a fair trial because I don't see how people don't know about this. Oh, you said in this situation, you said, what about stand your ground? In a situation where you feel threatened, you don't have to run away, even if you could avoid the confrontation. So that's what stand your ground means? I don't know why people do stand their ground and risk their lives though over silliness. Somebody says Sean had all the money to do what he wanted. He chose to be a deviant. Yep, if he did all these things, yep. Somebody said, why did he need to tape everything? Why so much baby oil? They say he would get a trial. He would need a lot of money, but it would be hard to win. Yeah, this is crazy, man. But like I said, it'd be interesting to see these people, who they pick. Because I still can find it hard to believe that they can find somebody that don't know about Sean Diddy Combs. At least 6 people. All right. So let's see. You said it's all lies, Jermaine. Could be. Who knows? Okay, let's move on. We're gonna move on to I forgot who else I said I was talking about. Let me go ahead and see. Let me go back to my live. I forgot who the next one is about. I did Diddy. I did G Hackman. Of course, I did the young guy. Okay, I think I covered everything. Let me see. Let me go to my channel and see because I be forgetting y'all sitting up here. Bum, 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 bum. Let's see. Let's see what else. Did I cover everything or not? See what else. Did I cover everything or not? I can hear myself talking right there, you guys. Let's see. Yeah, I think I covered everybody. I did Diddy. Jury selection was real quick. Gene Hackman, Horror House, KarmeloAthon. I spelled his name wrong here. Witness talks. I already showed you guys all of that. I think we're done. And then I added the extra story about the other young dude who was a teen at the time. He did self-defense, at least he claimed he did, and he got sentenced to 70 years. But the thing about self-defense is that you have to make sure it's actual self-defense. Anybody can claim self-defense. It doesn't mean it's necessarily true. Point blank. You know what I'm saying? You really have to use it the right way. Otherwise, you'll be incarcerated. and that's for a long time. You know what I'm saying? Let me make sure I got everything. I guess I can tell y'all 2 breaking news and then that'll be it. Oh, the Jaguar Wright thing, right? With Terrence Howard. Thank you. Okay, let me let y'all hear that. I forgot all about that. Let me include that because earlier today I did not do it, and I got Terrence in this thumbnail as well. So let me do that. I'm glad. Thank you, Jermaine, because I forgot all about him just like I did earlier. Okay, let's go ahead and do him real quick. Okay, let's go ahead and change this real quick. We got time tonight, y'all, because it's only 1:10. I don't go to bed till 2 o'clock, so I got a little minute. All right, and I'm already ready for bed too. Let's see. God, this is a hard little job, y'all, doing these lives. The only way it wouldn't be hard if I stayed at home all day and didn't work or do anything, basically. Terrence Howard, right? And Jaguar Wright. I'm gonna let y'all listen to this video. Let's see. If I know what the hell I'm up here spelling. Jaguar, let's see. I think this is how you spell her last name. All right, so we're gonna put this up here so we can know where we're at. Okay. So let's go ahead and listen to this video. Y'all know what Terrence Howard said in the interview a couple of days ago. He said his manager told him that Diddy wanted to F him He said Diddy was just, he went there, he went to meet Puffy about his music, I believe. And he said when he got there, Diddy was just sitting there staring at him. Okay, just staring at him like he is a woman or something. And then he said that his not his bodyguard, but his assistant or manager or something told him that Diddy wanted to hook up with him, that Diddy wanted to F him. So Terrence Howard did not like that. He was talking about it. So this is a video right here where Jaguar Wright is talking about that entire thing. Okay. Terrence Howard and everything. So let me go to it. Let's see. I got to find it first. Y'all know that already. I know this is not it right here. I forgot what I did with it. Let's see. I think this is it right here. Oh no, this is the one with this dude. I'll let y'all listen to this before we go too with Karmelo. Okay, I can let y'all listen to that. Let me see this right here, what this is. Because I forgot to let y'all listen to these videos. So I'm gonna let you listen to that too. This is KarmeloAthon. Hold on, I'm gonna let y'all listen to those in a minute. Because I forgot about those. Let me do this right here. I'm looking for the other one. Let me see if I can find it. Terrence Howard. I thought I had it down here, Jaguar Wright. Let me look for it. It may be this one right here. I hope so. I hope so, y'all. Let's see. This is Terrence. I mean, this is what's the name right here. Let me go down a little bit further. Let's see. Okay, let me go to what's the name and get it. Because damn, I don't know what happened to the damn video. Let me look on here again real quick, y'all, before we do it. That's Trap Boy Freddy. Let's see if this is it right here. No, this is it. Okay, let me type it into what's now. I don't know what I did with the damn video. Let me type it in here real quick and get it. Dang, I hate when I do that when I don't have stuff and I call myself saving it and then it don't be there. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see if I can pull it up real quick. Hope it be the same one that I had on then. I think this is it right here, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see. I think this is it. So just go ahead and listen. Wait. Yeah, this is it.
His acting coach for a while.
Wait.
I feel like understand Terrence Howard.
That hurt my feelings, man.
Because how could you say all of that?
Puffy invited me to come and teach him how to wanted me to be his acting coach for a while.
I feel like crap about what happened to Bashir Gray.
He's surrounded by a whole lot of love, and all he has to do is add discipline, and he gonna be all right.
How can you have that much outrage for the system and how it works?
My assistant was like, he wants to hang out with you next week. And I was like, for what? He's like, I think he's trying to.
But you don't have that outrage for Bashir. He played your TV son, and he was young enough to be your actual son in real life. Swat was 20 years younger than me. And I found out that she had been harassed by the same person that I have been harassed by. Made me feel like crap. But for me to not be able to take responsibility for the part that I played in saying nothing and letting it happen. Just going along. The get along, the go along game. Which is why I didn't understand Terrence Howard. That
hurt my feelings, man.
Because how could you say all of that?
Puffy invited me to come and teach him how to wanted me to be his acting coach for a while.
I feel like crap about what happened to Bashir Gray.
He's surrounded by a whole lot of love, and all he has to do is add discipline, and he gonna be all right.
How can you have that much outrage for the system and how it works?
My assistant was like, he wants to hang out with you next week. And I was like, for what? It's like, I think he's trying to.
But you don't have that outrage for Bashir.
Okay. So What do y'all think about that? Jaguar, right? If I'm understanding this correctly, is saying, how is Terrence, saying all this stuff, but yet I guess things must have happened to that dude who played his son on Empire, if I'm understanding this correctly. If Terrence, I guess you're saying if Terrence knew, if Terrence thought that Puffy was trying to hit up on him, and then the rumor has it that he did something to Bashir, why didn't Terrence, speak up on that? I guess that's what she's saying. Let me read some of these comments. Somebody said, I get what she's saying, but we really don't know Terrence's relationship with Bashir. Not everyone opens up about deep personal stuff, so I can't fault Terrence without facts. Let's see. Somebody said just because he's not saying anything about Bashir, he is saying something. Okay. And then somebody else said, and what if he did try to warn him? He could have tried to warn Bashir. Who knows? But that doesn't mean Bashir listened. You see what I'm saying? Because he was grown. So, he don't have to listen. He could have told him some things. We don't know. He's not going to get up on an interview and talk about this dude's personal business because Bashir may not want him to. Somebody said it's possible that Terrence might have cautioned the young actor about attending such parties. Perhaps the young actor did not take heed. Okay. They said Jag is not omnipresent. She wasn't there. And that's what I'm saying. What if he did say something to Bashir, but Bashir just did not listen because Bashir is grown. And I don't think it's up to Terrence to be on an interview talking about anything personal about somebody else who may not want their information out. So I get what Jaguar is saying, but at the same time, we don't know all of the information to give a real opinion. And then somebody said Bashir might not have told Terrence what was going on. Okay. So, that's nothing too. He might not have said anything. And I don't honestly think it's Terrence's fault. I just like people in this comment section, because it just all depends, on what actually happened. He could have told the dude all about Puffy, and the dude just wanted to do what he wanted to do because the dude is grown. Okay. Somebody said Terrence had domestic violence charges by his ex-partners against him. Let's see. I think I remember that. Another commenter said professional relationship is different from a personal relationship. That line must be respected. I think Terrence basically was talking about himself, and then he started saying that a lot of people in the industry basically sell themselves out and they do things to get roles and things like that, and they are not, real men. But I think he was basically, mostly talking about himself and what his experience was with Diddy, point blank. I don't think he was there to tell us about other people and things like that. And then another commenter said, who's to say that Terrence did not do or say anything about the situation? Could be Terrence has no control over other people's lives, especially overgrown people's lives. All you can do is warn, but you can't make them, okay? That's crazy. So what do you guys think? Do y'all think that Jaguar Wright is correct in what she just said regarding Terrence Howard? Or do you think Terrence could have told Bashir and Bashir just didn't listen, point blank? What do you guys think about that? And let me know in the comment section. Okay. Now we're going to move on from Terrence Howard because we already heard what he said the other day. Now let me play these videos for you guys, and then we are getting ready to get out of here. Okay. And I'll give you guys the breaking news tomorrow because I forgot about these 3 videos that I want y'all to hear on Carmelo Anthony. Hold on. Let me go to it. Let's see. I forgot where they at now. Let's see. I think this is it right here. Let's see if this is the right one. Oh no, this is this chick right here. Let me go around to the right videos. Y'all think is not this. I don't think that's it either. Let me go down to the right videos. I got to go back up because I'm gonna pass it up again. I always forget where all this stuff is at on this dang phone. Oh, here it is right here. So listen to these videos, okay?
I'm a lawyer, but y'all heard about the situation that happened at a Texas track meet last week? The overview is that after some sort of altercation, this 17-year-old student, whose name is Austin Metcalf, lost his life after being fatally stabbed at a track meet by this 17-year-old high school student, whose name is Carmelo Anthony. Now, there are a lot of reports about what happened, but I just read through the arrest affidavit. So let's go through some of the police officers' reports to walk through what they say happened. So it was Wednesday, April 2nd, and a call went out over dispatch about an incident at the school stadium. One of the school's resource officers, Officer Cortez, goes to the area, and when he gets there, a man points out Carmelo Anthony as the suspect. Officer Cortez walks over to where Carmelo Anthony was, but there's a chain link fence between the two of them. Officer Cortez tells Carmelo to put his hands in the air, and at this point, according to the report, without being asked any questions, Carmelo says, quote, "I was protecting myself." Carmelo and the officer then walk along the fence until they get to an opening, and when they do, the report says that Carmelo says, quote, "He put his hands on me." The officer then pats down Carmelo looking for any weapons, and after not finding any, Officer Cortez says over his radio that he has the alleged suspect. And at this point, according to the report, Carmelo says, quote, "I'm not alleged, I did it." Carmelo, no more talking. Okay. Around this time, another officer arrives to the scene, and she and Officer Cortez walk Carmelo to the squad car. The report says that Carmelo is really emotional, and he says, quote, "He put his hands on me, I told him not to." Carmelo is then put into the car, and officers notice some blood on his hands, so they take some pictures. And while he's waiting in the back seat, Carmelo says, quote, "Is he going to be okay?" Carmelo is then transported to the jail. He's changed into jail clothing, and his clothes are put into an evidence bag for the investigation. Now, the next report is from Officer Allison Ricci. She's the one who arrived on the scene when Officer Cortez was with Carmelo. Officer Ricci's report is pretty similar to Officer Cortez, but one addition is that she says while she and Cortez were walking Carmelo to that squad car, he asked if what happened could be considered self-defense. The next reports from officers kind of detail the scene being secured, crime scene tape going up, and officers beginning to search for the weapon that was used. One of the witnesses on the scene directs an officer to where they say the weapon had been tossed, and when the officer finds it, it had started to rain pretty heavily, so they put up a tarp to protect the knife from the rain, but also being able to leave it in place. Okay, next, officers begin detailing what witnesses say led up to the stabbing. One witness told an officer that he was sitting under the Memorial High School pop-up tent with his teammates. Austin, who again is the victim, and Carmelo, who is the suspect, were also both under that tent. Austin tells Carmelo that he needs to move out from under the tent, and in response, this witness says Carmelo grabbed his bag, reached inside, and said, "Touch me and see what happens." Austin Metcalf then proceeds to touch Carmelo, and then Carmelo said, "Punch me and see what happens." This witness says a short time later, Austin Metcalf grabs Carmelo to tell him to move, and that's when Carmelo reaches into his bag, pulls out a weapon, strikes Austin with it, and then Carmelo runs away. And another witness told an officer a very similar story. He says that Carmelo was standing under that tent, and Austin told Carmelo that he needed to leave the tent because he doesn't go to that school. Carmelo and Austin then have some back and forth, and then Austin stands up, pushes Carmelo to get him from under the tent, and that's when Carmelo reaches in his bag and gets the weapon. So So that's what we know so far. Karmelo has been arrested. He is incarcerated and charged with the death of Austin Metcalf. Both Karmelo and Austin's family have made GoFundMes and made some statements. Austin's family says he was a bright young man with a great future ahead of him, a leader of men, and that his smile would light up the room. Karmelo's attorney, on the other hand, says that Karmelo says that this was self-defense and more facts need to be developed to figure out what happened that day. Karmelo's attorney says he doesn't have any reason to think that this situation was not self-defense. So those are the facts right now. Karmelo's attorney has asked that his bond be reduced. So we'll see what new evidence and information comes out. But overall, this is a really sad story. Have y'all been keeping up with this one? Word to the wise, don't talk when you are with officers. Say nothing. I'm not a lawyer.
Okay, so we're going to stop that one right there. And we're going to go to the other one that I wanted to show you guys. And we're going to listen to that one as well.
My opinion on KarmeloAthon is he's going to do a lot of prison time for taking.
He may do a lot of jail time, he may not. I don't know. I'm on that jury. But I don't want to liken this to a case from Wisconsin or a case from New York. Let me liken this to a case from Texas. A young man by the name of Jesus San Miguel got into neutral combat with a friend and stabbed him, only receiving 30 days in jail and 10 years probation. Why such a lenient sentence? Because in Texas, as long as you are lawfully present, you can use deadly force to protect yourself against serious bodily injury. Karmelo was somewhere he was legally allowed to be. At 17, he's an adult in Texas. So he's an adult in public, somewhere he's legally allowed to be, which is a school district track, not a school, but a track owned by the school district, and somebody asked him to move from a public place. He refused it, and they put their hands on him twice, according to 30 eyewitnesses. In a state like Texas, it's open and shut. Maybe we should train people to not put their hands on people. Show your urges, show this Neanderthal territorial bullshit. Maybe we have less people dying.
My opinion on KarmeloAthon.
So he just, hold on. So he just basically explained, I mean, I don't know if y'all can understand him, but he just basically explained some stuff that I was wondering about that school. About the, not the school, but the track place that they were at, the park thing that they were at, the stadium. You know, I was wondering, because the school owned it, would it be considered school property? So I'm still not sure right there, because he just said something a little bit different. You know, if y'all understood everything he just said. Okay. Now let me go ahead and play the next video. We're not going to discuss these. I'm just playing so you guys can hear it. Okay. Because we're getting ready to get out of here. We've been on here almost, let's see, we've been on here almost 3 hours. So let me hurry up. So this is the last one right here, I think. That may be the last video. Let me see. I think that's the last video right there. I think I showed you all those videos. So that last video where the dude was talking, let me go back to that one again real quick before.
My opinion
Let's listen to that again.
Is he's going to do a lot of prison time for taking.
He may do a lot of jail time, he may not. I don't know. I'm on that jury. But I don't want to liken this to a case from Wisconsin or a case from New York. Let me liken this to a case from Texas. A young man by the name of Jesus San Miguel got into neutral combat with a friend and stabbed him, only receiving 30 days in jail and 10 years probation. Why such a lenient sentence? Because in Texas, as long as you are lawfully present, you can use deadly force to protect yourself against serious bodily injury. Karmelo was somewhere he was legally allowed to be. At 17, he's an adult in Texas. So he's an adult in public, somewhere he's legally allowed to be, which is a school district track, not a school, but a track owned by the school district. And somebody asked him to move from a public place. He refused it, and they put their hands on him twice, according to 30 eyewitnesses. In a state like Texas, it's open and shut. Maybe we should train people to not put their hands on people.
Right.
Urges, show this Neanderthal territorial bullshit. Maybe we have less people dying.
Right.
My opinion.
And I agree. Let's stop that right there. And I agree with that. I mean, it's simple and cut dry for me. The dude should have never touched him, like I said before. And as far as this dude said, he may get some years, he may not. We don't know for sure until, you know, they go to trial and everything. But I still say, you know, it's self-defense. I still say this could have been avoided if they would have just handled that a little bit better. And I still say, you know, somebody must have been messing with him. That's why he felt a need to have a knife in his bag. And I think everything that he did that night, he did it because he was scared. You know what I'm saying? And he thought they was going to really do stuff to him. And I believe the other stuff happened at the same time. I don't believe it was just as simple as everybody trying to say it was. I just don't believe that. I believe other stuff happened that day, you know, and that made him fearful. You know what I'm saying? Where he felt like he needed to pull out a weapon. Simple as that. All right. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I think I covered everything. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Over here in the chat, we got Jermaine. He's in the place to be. Thank you so much, Jermaine, for showing support. What did you say? The issue is not any of that. The whole thing depends on proportionality. Oh, wow. To my Terrence Howard. You said cancel Terrence Howard. This guy must be stopped shaking my hand. What a terrible guy. He should apologize. Howard failed to protect co-star Bashir Gray. She alleged that Howard failed to protect co-star Bashir Gray during their time working together. Right, but Bashir was grown. He probably did tell Bashir stuff. We don't know that because we weren't there. And Jaguar don't know it either. So it is what it is. Yeah, you did. You did mention this yesterday. Okay. And thank you to Drip Advisory or Trip Advisory for coming in here, showing support and being here for the whole life. I appreciate you as well, And who else? I think that was it who came in tonight. People probably sleep. Oh, Looney Tunes. Thank you so much for stopping by, hon. I'm going to have to check you out. I haven't been over there in a while, but thank you so much for dropping by, showing support. I think I covered everybody over here. And thanks to everybody in the bushes and everybody who watches this in the replay. So tomorrow night, I'll be back, guys, with another brand new live. I was about to say hogs. And, of course, I have some updated information on Karmelo. We're going to be covering his stuff all the way through. And then, of course, on Diddy and some of this other stuff that I do have. Some crazy-ass stories. I'm going to tell you guys about that as well. And anything more on Terrence Howard and anybody else. You guys know this is the breaking news over here. So Shades Tube does provide that breaking news along with other topics. Okay, so I'm definitely have a good night. And don't forget to thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell notifications, and share and leave a comment. All right? Y'all, good night, and I'll see y'all in my next video. Let's go ahead and flash this through the screen real quick so y'all can remember to do it. And we are getting ready to get out of here. We was on here for 2 hours and 52 minutes. All right? Good night, y'all. See y'all tomorrow. Peace out. Let me change these banners real quick. I got the wrong thing up, y'all. Sorry about that. That's what I was meaning to put up. Good night, y'all. Ta-ta.